Almost everything we thought we knew about right and left brain activity is now being questioned by a group of psychologists. We know that left brain dominant people tend to be logical, rational, and organized, and that right brain dominance fosters creativity, imagination, and artistry. But is that being proven invalid? Now it is being discovered that our brains, contrary to popular belief, may not actually be divided into spheres. Instead, it is now being discussed that the neocortex is divided and makes up 2/3 of the brain. In layman's terms, the neocortex is the most advanced part of the brain. The two sides of it determine how we think, thus we are right-brained or left-brained. This dominance, in turn, also decides how the rest of the neocortex will work, per the research being conducted. I hate to say it, but left-brain dominant people are more likely to be clinical and cold in their judgments and problem solving. Language recognition is a function of the left hemisphere too, which makes language easier for those with left-brain dominance. None of that should be a surprise, but psychologists now think that the left brain is wired to the right brain. The left brain controls the right brain. Really? Psychologists say that logic is not the only attribute of left-brain dominance. There appears to be more specific characteristics as well. Some may even surprise you. For example, left-brain people are likely to be dog lovers and prefer classical music. And if you're left-brained, you may also want to know that you cannot be hypnotized. What may not be a surprise is the fact that lawyers, judges, and bankers tend to be left-brained. Well, what have they discovered about right-brained folks? We already know that the right hemisphere is associated with cognitive skills such as creativity, emotion, and intuitiveness. It also controls the left side of the body, so right-brained people are often left-handed. Right-brain dominant people are characterized as artistic, innovative, and often random. Their thought processes are sometimes viewed as irregular and outside the box, but the seemingly free spirit attribute often creates originality and inventiveness. What would the world look like without right-brained people? If you're thinking of a career in politics, acting, or athletics, you're more than likely right-brained. Many occupations that require creative thinking and perceptiveness require right-brain dominance. Research says that when you look inside our school buildings, left-brain ways of thinking are generally favored over right-brained. This is most likely because of the logical and analytical skills of left-brain students. Right-brain focused curriculums tend to concentrate more on the visual and artistic side and use metaphors, movement, and role-playing. Right-brain dominant individuals seem to be good at art and or sports, and they can memorize words or lyrics more easily than left-brain dominant people. Just so you know, right-brain people can be hypnotized. Now that we've discussed all of the latest research, do you think we must be either totally left-brained or totally right-brained? As you listen through this section, could you visualize yourself as both? If your answer was yes, then have no fear. Psychologists have determined that a lot of what we consider either left or right brain activity is actually being done on both sides. The researchers go on to say that most people are more or less equal on both sides of the brain. What a relief! This definitely makes sense to me because as a teacher I have to be analytical and possess strong leadership skills, so I would classify myself as being left-brained. However, I also have to be creative in order to design effective hands-on lessons that motivate students to want to learn. Would that require me to be right-brained as well? Bottom line, most people are not entirely one or the other when it comes to left or right brain dominance. There's usually a mix, although we may show a little more preference toward one side of the brain or the other in certain areas. That may explain why teachers need to be artistic and creative, which both are right brain functions, but they must also have a good language base to effectively communicate information to students, which is a left brain attribute. Regardless of the latest research, we're going to take a left brain, right brain test, but understanding that in different situations, we may use the opposite of what our test results conclude.